Did you know that women own just 32 cents for every dollar of wealth that men own? And despite progress in pay equality, the gender wealth gap is actually growing. Why is that? Because it's not just about wages, it's about how wealth is built. Welcome back to Simply Money. Today we're looking at the secret war on women's wealth. Women face hidden financial barriers that keep them from accumulating and maintaining wealth. From lower lifetime earnings to investment disparities and caregiving responsibilities, these obstacles create a silent war on women's wealth. But there's good news. Once you know the game, you can learn how to win it. Although our channel is predominantly made up of males, I wanted to make sure I did a video especially for our female viewers and let them know some of the things that they can do to close that wealth gap, because their wealth is just as important as the male viewers. Let's look at the gender wealth gap problem. First, the pay gap isn't the whole story. Now, although women earn about 83 cents for every dollar a man earns, but the wealth gap is even wider. Career interruptions for caregiving is another reason. Women are more likely to take time off to care for children or aging parents, reducing their lifetime earnings and savings. A third problem is lower investment rates. Men invest 40% more than women on average, leading to lower wealth accumulation over time. So it's not just about how much they're making, which is significantly lower. It's also about their investments, and they are investing at a slower and less rate than men. Another factor is the longer life expectancy. Women live longer but often retire with less, making financial security even more challenging. Why is it women struggle to build wealth? And please don't shoot me. This isn't an accusation. I'm just reporting on the facts and trying to give encouragement on things that you can do to help close that gap in your personal life. Number one is the confidence gap. Studies show that women are more hesitant to invest, and even though their portfolios tend to perform just as well, if not better than men's, they are hesitant. What we call the pink tax and financial burdens. Women spend more on essential products and often have higher medical costs. A third factor is motherhood penalty versus fatherhood bonus. While men's earnings increase after having kids, women's earnings decrease. A fourth reason is risk aversion and savings habits. Now get this, women tend to save more, but invest less, missing out on long-term growth. We talk a lot on this channel about the power of investing and why simply saving isn't enough, because saving doesn't keep up with inflation. Although you're saving money, which is good, and that's the starting point, it is not keeping up with inflation, and you're losing purchasing power. Whereas if you're investing, you're outpacing inflation, so you're increasing your wealth building. Let's give you an example. If you have current inflation is around 4% and you're in a high yield savings account, so you're saving your money, you're basically breaking even with inflation. But oftentimes the interest rate is lower than inflation. Typically, that is the case. You're not even keeping up with inflation, so that money in the bank is losing purchasing power, even though you're being diligent about saving it. Whereas if you invest in the S&P 500, the average return is 10 to 11%. Let's just say 10%. Then you remove that 4% inflation that it currently has, you're netting 6% of wealth building that is compounding over time. That's why investing is so important, and that's the fourth reason that wealth gap is increasing. Not because women are not saving. In fact, they're saving more. Let's look at a real life example. Susan, who earned a decent salary but never invested because she thought it was too risky. Meanwhile, her male colleague making the same income invested in the S&P 500 index. 20 years later, Susan has $100,000 in savings. Nice job. That's great. But her colleague has $350,000 plus in investment, because it was compounding, because it was growing. Susan worked just as hard, saved more carefully, but still ended up with far less wealth because investing is a key aspect of building your wealth and closing that wealth gap. The gender wealth gap isn't just about wages. We hear a lot about that, and that's important, and we want to continue to close that pay gap between genders. But more importantly, it's about how we grow and manage money. But we want to close that wealth gap, which severely disparages against women, and we want to make sure that they are getting the information that they need to make wise decisions to be able to invest and grow your wealth. Women need equal pay, better investment education, and systematic change to close the gap for the future generations. And I know coming from me as a male, it may seem condescending, but that is not the intention whatsoever. I am sharing this for informational and educational purpose and to encourage my female viewers that you can close that wealth gap because compound interest has no preference on gender. Building wealth truly does not have gender bias, but the actions we take make a huge difference. If you are nervous, if you have the confidence handicap, or you have something else hindering you, you're afraid of investment, build your education, build your financial knowledge, build your financial literacy, and grow that confidence so you can take that important step of investing to build your wealth. Have you faced financial challenges due to gender disparity? Share your story below for others, whether it's pay disparity or wealth disparity, any kind of disparity due to gender, share that because we're here to make sure that everybody can make investing simple, that anybody can build wealth and anybody can achieve financial freedom regardless of their race, gender, whatever. We are not concerned about that. We want to educate everybody equally and give everybody the tools to make wise decisions. If you like this video, hit that subscribe and like button. Don't forget to hit the bell to be notified of future videos as they're launched. And I appreciate you joining me today, and I hope you'll make those changes to help close that wealth gap. And thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time on Simply Money.